So sideways parabolas are basically exactly the same, except for they go left to right instead of top to bottom. So when you do your 1/4a, or you're finding that C value, and you do find that C value, instead of moving up and down from the vertex, you're moving left and right from the vertex, and that's it. So remember, it's still the same thing. The focus will be inside of the parabola, and the directrix will be on the outside. So same thing that we did yesterday. We're going to review the y equals first. You guys see it's y equals because your x is squared. We're going to review that one first, and then we'll go from there into the sideways parabolas. Okay, so what did we do yesterday? Example 1, what did we do? Get the y by itself. So we get 1/20x squared. Couple things that are not listed are the direction of the opening and the axis of symmetry. I didn't really make you list the opening yesterday, but I'm going to do it today just so you know, or have documentation of the difference between up and down and then left and right. So all right, which way is this one going to open? It's y equals, so it's up and down, and it's 1/20th in the front. So which way is it going to open? Up, because it's positive. What's your vertex? We'll go with vertex first. 0, 0. So what's your axis of symmetry? X equals 0. All right. So the rest of it we have to do, our C equals 1/4a. Our A for this one is 1/20th. So what is C? 5. So our vertex was 0, 0. We go up 5 and down 5. And since it opens up, sorry, this is your focus. And this one is your directrix. So what's your focus point? Somebody else, what's your directrix? Be careful. What should this look like? It's not a coordinate. It's a
y equals negative.
Yeah, y equals negative. No worries. That's why we're doing it. Just a reminder. And then your focal chord endpoints. Remember, we have to do 2c, or 2 times 5, which is 10. So we go 10 to the left. I'm just trying to get the right line, so I'm lining it up. These are hard to see. And 10 to the right. And what are those two coordinates? 10, 5, and negative 10, 5. Doesn't matter which order you write them in. And then if we were to graph, this thing is huge. Why is it so big? Why is it so big?
Because of the 1/20th.
It's such a tiny fraction. Remember, the smaller the fraction, the wider that parabola is going to be. The more open it's going to be. All right. So we're used to seeing parabolas like the one in example 1. What would a parabola of 4x equals y squared look like? Would it be open up or down, left or right? Is it wide or narrow? Is the focus still inside the parabola? Is the directrix still on the outside? So if we had y equals x squared, we know that that opens up. The focus would be on the inside. The directrix is on the outside. If we have negative x squared, it opens down. The directrix is on the top. The focus is inside. So the next one is x equals. So I'm putting a little squiggly line right here. The next one is x equals, so that means it's going to turn left or right. Which way does this one point? Why does it point to the right? Because it's positive. The focus is still going to be on the inside. What's going to be the difference in the directrix? So what's going to be different with what I write for directrix? It's going to be x equals instead of y equals. That's it. Okay, so everything is exactly the same. Watch when we get a vertex other than 0, 0, that you do it backwards. Remember, when you have that vertex, you pull it out backwards. All right, so the other one is going to be facing to the left. It's the exact same thing. Focus is going to be on the inside. Directrix is going to be on the outside. Guys, it's the same work, okay? The only difference is once you get your vertex, when you find that 1/4A or you find C, you're moving to the left and right instead of up and down. Everything else is exactly the same, okay? So on this one, we need to solve for X. How do you know which variable to solve for? So like if I had them all jumbled up, how would you know which variable to solve for?
Whatever has a squared on it.
Other way around. That's the one I don't solve for. Whatever has the square is what you're not solving for. Does that make sense? So the singular variable is the one you're solving for. So X is what we're going to solve for on this one. So we're going to divide by 4. And they won't always look like this. They might be in a different form where we have to make it that way. And we get X equals 1/4 Y squared. Which way does this open? Good. It's right because it's X equals and it's positive. I'm going to put axis of symmetry up here, but we're going to do vertex first and then we'll do axis of symmetry. Where's your vertex on this one? 0, 0. And again, if I wrote that out, I'll do it right here. X equals 1/4. It would be Y plus or minus 0. It doesn't matter which one you put. Plus 0. So it would look like that. So soon, I think, not tomorrow, but Monday, I think we have a different vertex that we're working with. So it's not just 0, 0 every single time. All right. So then your axis of symmetry, because it points to the right, remember, if I talk about these, your axis of symmetry goes through this. So instead of being X equals on our last one, this one is going to be what? Y equals and whatever your Y coordinate is. So Y equals 0. All right. So our vertex is 0, 0. To find our focus, directrix, and focal chord endpoints, we're still going to do C equals 1/4A. A was 1/4, which gives us what? 1. So before we were going up 1 and down 1 because it was Y equals. So now instead we're going to go left 1 and right 1. Since it opens to the right, and remember I did that little sketch for you before, you don't have to put that on there because I'm going to sketch it in a minute. I just want you to visually see. The inside is going to be your focus. So your focus is at 1, 0. The one on the outside is going to be your directrix, and it has to be an equation. It goes through the x-axis at -1. Okay. To find the focal chord endpoint, same thing, we do 2C. So 2 times 1, which is 2. And we're going 2 from the focus. So 2 up and 2 down. So basically you just do the opposite. Those coordinates are 1, 2, and 1, -2. When you sketch it, it's going to look like this. Any questions? Everybody okay? Same exact thing that we did yesterday. We're just flipping it sideways. All right. Which variable am I solving for on this one? X. How do I do it? When I rewrite it, I get X equals 1/2 Y squared. Which way does it open? Right. It's X equals, so it's left to right. It's a positive 1/2, so it goes to the right. We'll do axis of symmetry in a minute. What's your vertex? 0, 0, same thing. And then our axis of symmetry is always the opposite of the equation. So our equation is X equals, so our axis of symmetry is Y equals, and it's the coordinate of the vertex. So the Y coordinate of the vertex is 0. How do I find my focus? 1/4A, if we're looking for C. So 4 times 1/2 on the bottom. And we get 1/2. All right, so this will be the first one that you do. That's kind of, well, it's not kind of weird. The other one, we had 1/2 on the other one as well, so we should be okay. All right, so your vertex is 0, 0. Which way do I go now? How do I work with this 1/2? Which way do I go?
Left or right?
Left and right. 1/2 and 1/2. Since it opens right, this one is your focus. This one is your directrix. So for your focus, what is your coordinate? Say it again. 0.50 or 1/2 0. Either one is perfectly fine. Again, like I told you yesterday, I don't care decimal fraction. You do whatever you're comfortable with. Your directrix, it goes through the x-axis at -1/2 or -0.5. It doesn't matter which one you put. How do you find the focal chord endpoints? We do 2c, which makes it a little easier. 2 times 1/2 is 1. So from the focus, we go up 1 and down 1. So to get to the top point, I went over 1/2 and up 1, over 1/2 and up 1. To get the other one, I went over 1/2 and down 1. The bigger your fraction, the skinnier your parabola. Everybody good? We're going to kind of do the same thing we did yesterday. I don't think you guys have a quiz today, do you? I don't even think it's on the, I don't know. I think you're good. So I think once we do our homework, we're good to go. It'll be a good Friday, right? Yeah. Y'all will probably be bored in here, and I'm sorry. You do whatever you want to. All right. Example 4. It's already solved for us. Which way does this one open? How do you know it opens to the left? It's x equals, so that means it goes left or right. It's a -1/8, so that means to the left. What's your vertex? Your axis of symmetry. Opposite of your equation, so y equals, and your y coordinate of your vertex is 0. To find the rest, we have to find c, which is 1/4a, which is 1/4 times 1/8. If you do the negative, that's fine as well. It doesn't matter. That gives me 2. How do I move? Left to right 2. You said it opens left, which makes this the directrix and this the focus. So your focus is at -2, 0. Your directrix goes through the x-axis at +2. And to find the focal chord endpoints, we do 2c, or 2 times 2, which is 4. And we do 4 up and down from the focus, which gives us our parabola. And what are our 2 coordinates? -2, 4, and -2, -4. Any questions? Guys, okay? All right. So you have some homework, but I want you to go to 5 and 6 on the homework. 5 and 6 on the homework. I didn't put any of these in the notes, but they're the same again as yesterday. Sorry, I'm gonna get my graph paper so you can see them. So we have a focus at 2, 0, directrix at x equals -2. Remember that your vertex is exactly halfway between. So where would your vertex be? 0, 0. So what we have right now, be careful on this. Our coordinate is, I'm sorry, our equation is x equals, because it's left to right. What goes inside of parentheses? And then this is just your vertex. So don't forget that, because we'll, again, once we change that vertex, you got to really start thinking kind of a little bit harder. How did we find A yesterday? We used our C equals 1 over 4A. What is C? Just to remind you, it's the distance from the focus to the vertex or from the vertex to the directrix, either one. So we get 2 equals 1 over 4A. We solve it by cross multiplying. We get 8A equals 1. Divide by 8, and A equals 1/8. Is this 1/8 going to be positive or negative?
Positive,
Why?
because the focus is on the right.
It opens to the right. So our final equation, x equals a positive 1/8. And then just y squared. You can put the vertex coordinates in there if you want to, but with 0, 0, it doesn't matter. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do. Very good. All right. So if you don't have graph paper and you just want to kind of sketch it, you can do that. We have directrix at x equals 8. And we have -8, 0 for my focus. So halfway between those two is my vertex. So where's my vertex?
0, 0.
0, 0. So it's the same thing. Which way does this one open though? Left. So what's that tell me in the end? Make that a negative. So where I had my 1/8 on the last time, it would be negative this time. So we have x equals a times y plus 0 squared plus 0. And again, this is your vertex. We got to find a. Guys, the reason I'm doing this pretty heavy with right now is you have a whole, like your very last quiz that you have is on making equations. And they're not very pretty numbers, okay? So you do this every single time. You can have your notes out, whatever, but I'm telling you, I think it's on Tuesday that you're gonna take this quiz. It's all just making equations, okay? Why? Because that's what's on your EOC, all right? And that'll be the last like thing before Thanksgiving. You won't have to think about anything over Thanksgiving, and then we come back and do one more unit, and then we exam review and we're done. Like we're so close, so close. All right, C, how long is C? How far is it from here to here? 8 units. So C, I'm sorry, 8 equals 1 over 4A. We're going to cross multiply. We get 32A equals 1. Divide by 32. And A equals 1 over 32. Is this going to be a fat or skinny parabola? This is going to be huge, right? Real big, because 1/32 is really tiny. So we get not y equals, we get x equals. We said since it opens to the left, we need to make this negative. And then we just have y squared. Again, for those purposes, if you need to visually see it, you can put it in like that. That's fine. Okay. I don't care. But this is your true equation. All right. Everybody okay? All right. I'm going to stop sharing, stop recording.